Hi everybody, this is Kim McQueen. I wanted to make a video today about zippers. And the reason I wanted to talk about zippers, I think I mentioned before that I could go on and on about every product I ever made and talk to you about various issues that came up. And that, you know, each product you design and make is sort of its own mountain. I guess that's a Chinese saying. It's like, you might scale one mountain, but then the next mountain's going to have different obstacles and different issues. And so I thought that's a pretty great analogy, because as time went on and I thought I was getting better and better at making products, there would be a new problem that would show up that I didn't have the answer to yet, and I kind of had to work through it. But one of the very first things that showed up was an issue with zippers. And I'm not sure how many of you think about that kind of detail when you go to make a bag or a purse or even just a small makeup bag. So I wanted to make this product. This was another brand's product. I really liked it and I thought, oh, this is just so great. It was like $24.95 to purchase, and I knew it couldn't be that much to actually make it. Now, when I started to source everything, what I found was this was a really high grade leather. So that contributes to the price. And I got that same kind of leather. So this is what we ended up making ours out of, is a lamb skin, and then it's coated with a paint. And even this one you can kind of see is starting to wear a bit. So this was the original one that I wanted to copy and then do slightly different. And so let's see here, what I came up with was one like this, and then I embossed it with curves. But this was a really high grade leather that was a lambskin leather. Now, what's interesting about that is once we made the whole product and we put our margin on there to sell it to the franchisees, our margin's never very high. We're almost like wholesalers when you do franchising business. You really, and so those of you out there doing wholesaling, you know what I mean. It's kind of painful. You need to have high volume to make the return for all the effort and time you put into something. But what I found is no one, for the price, no one would believe that this was really good leather, and it was actually really good leather. When the sample came in, the sample was fine. There was no major issue with the sample. I thought it was okay. And then we produced, I think, 800 of them or 700 of them, something like that. And when they came in, all of a sudden the zippers were like sticking. And I was like, what just happened? Why did the zipper do that? And I then called and said, you know, there's an issue with the zipper. Why isn't the zipper moving very easily? Oh, you just need to do it a couple of times and then it'll, see, this one's even catching. You just need to do it a couple times and it'll get better. And I thought, really? Well, that's not like a normal thing. You don't have to wear in a zipper. So what's going on? Well, then as the issue continued to get bigger, it was like, well, we probably should have waxed the zipper. If we would have waxed the zipper, it would have been better. And I'm like, well, why didn't we just wax the zipper then? Well, you didn't ask us to wax the zipper, and I didn't know to ask to wax the zipper. So these are the things you encounter in China. It's like, well, I didn't know that was going to be a problem. And I also didn't know that there was differences of zippers. So I think that's also the next thing I want to mention. So we waxed them. They definitely got better. But the real issue comes down to the fact that I didn't spec a zipper. And I didn't know I needed to spec a zipper. So I wanted to tell you today just a little bit about what kind of zippers you should be thinking about. So the YKK zipper is a Japanese zipper. And it's a really high grade zipper. As a matter of fact, some of the zipper is made in China, some of the zipper is still made in Japan. And if you're gonna make a really high-end product, I highly recommend you go into YKK zippers. They make great nylon zippers, metal zippers. They make a lot of great zippers. So that's really something you should consider if you're making a high-end product. If you're not making a high-end product, you might wonder, like for example, we didn't mention that this was, well, we mentioned that it was leather. We didn't like really put a big thing that said it was leather. And so they didn't really believe this was leather. They didn't believe the quality. And I can only mention that if you have high quality anything, you need to indicate that somewhere, so that whether it's Italian leather or it's lambskin or something like this, you need to indicate that somewhere so that people understand a bit more about the product you're selling. With the zippers, you're not necessarily going to say this is a high-end zipper, but the expectation would be if you're using high-end other materials that you would use high-end finishing. And so what kind of zippers in China would be good? There are local branded zippers. So for example, this is a local branded zipper, and it's a great zipper. There is absolutely nothing wrong with this zipper. It's quite heavy duty. It's got big wide teeth. It's great. It's not expensive. It's brass, and but it's a local zipper. These are also local zippers. Now these are bags that we made. This is brass plated. This is many years old and it still looks fantastic. I love this bag. I mean, this is a PU fabric. It's not a leather of any kind, and yet it looks really high end and fantastic. But it is a local zipper. So, and here's another one. This one, actually, the two of these go together. They hook together. So this is a fabric that we printed. This is a digital printing of a fabric with the plastic on the outside. They're not laminated together. They're separated. But then we have the brass fitting there. And so this, again, is a local zipper. Nothing wrong with it. It's fantastic. So it doesn't always have to be YKK. It's just something you should consider. So your local zippers would be zippers like SBS, THC, IDAL, and SAB. These are local Chinese zippers. So I would just say when you're finishing a product, whether it's brass plating here, like this is brass. This is metal, the whole thing. It's brass plated, but it's like a nickel underneath. I did not want plastic because I didn't want it to break. And with everything that went into making this look this way or this look this way, we had a couple others like this. I didn't want anything made out of plastic. So you need to really think about the detail around your finishing and make sure that you spec everything, because the question you might get in the end is very similar to me. Well, why didn't you mention what zipper you wanted? Well, I didn't know I had a choice, and I didn't know there was a big difference. So now I know a lot about zippers. And the reason I also wanted to mention this too is when you look at your quotation, sometimes you just put things out there and you say, okay, can you quote this for me? You aren't necessarily looking at all the detail of the quotation. So maybe you think, oh, I can get a better quote over here. Well, do you know the finishing of this? Do you know if this is brass? Do you know if this is nickel? Do you know if it's made of plastic? Do you know if this is leather? If this is PU? Do you know what this is made of? Do you know what the zipper is made of? Do you know what this is made of? So you really have to get down to the detail of what everything's made of, because at the end of the day, the more quality you put into something, the longer it's gonna last. If it's a product that doesn't matter, you just need something down and dirty, you might not be so considered about all those details. Each one of them might not matter that much. But if you do want something that you're going to put your name behind and you're going to sell, you're going to want to look at every single piece of what's being quoted so that you know, okay, this is this zipper. Okay, it's made of nylon. Okay, it's made of brass. And then the finishing that's going into it. So I just wanted, it kind of came up a couple weeks ago, one of the quotes that I was looking at, and I thought, you know, probably people don't realize how important that is. So now in everything I quote, we're only going to use the best products available. I'm just not going to do anything made of anything cheap, because there's only a problem with that. So for all of you out there making products, just think about your zipper and your finishing. Okay, bye.